Hello, everyone. In today's video, we're taking a look at one of the classic questions and the classic answers to why won't my weapons fire in Command Modern Operations. For those of you who are brand new to this game, this is kind of one of those things that's so common it actually comes up as an FAQ item. But I thought it'd be time to actually do a video to kind of address some of the different problems you're going to be facing as far as engaging targets. It's actually involved. It's involved. So first things first, let's take a look at our little scenario here. So pretty straightforward. I've got myself an SA-5C. Oh, no, we've just detected a target. Oh, that target's very close by. Look at that. It's an air target of some kind. We just detected it at 54 nautical miles. Oh, boy. Let's go ahead and engage it. Obviously, this target is way too close, so I'm going to go ahead and mark it as hostile right away. I'm going to go ahead and unpause. And any second now, that SA-5 battery, they're twisting those little wheels, getting ready to fire. Everything's looking pretty good. The battery commander's confirmed hostile. He's calling it in. Everybody's getting excited and ready to fire. And they're just kind of sitting around and nothing's happening. So this is one of the common problems that people who are new to Command aren't used to. You know, you're thinking StarCraft, if the thing is in range, it should fire. But in Command, it's different. As a matter of fact, if I were to go ahead and click on my unit here, I can see that we are well within effective range. As a matter of fact, this guy's basically in the sweet spot. He's about, again, we don't have an altitude here, but if we can just do the math in our head real quick, probably about 3 or 4 miles up. So easy target, easy target. He's been identified. He's picked up on radar. Everything's ready to go. Well, why are we not firing? Well, one of the easiest ways in this game to determine why a weapon is not firing is to go ahead and do a manual engagement of the target. So I'm going to come up here and click on manual engage. You can also press Shift F1 if you like. I'm going to click on the target. Oh, we have a lot of problems we have to solve here. The first one I noticed in this bright red, again, anything that's red means you can't fire. Automatic fire is not allowed. Weapons control status is weapons hold. Okay, let's figure that out. So that's a doctrine issue. So I'm going to bring up my Control Shift F9 here. You can also access that right up at the tippy top here. And I'm going down. I can see we're holding fire against air targets. Well, that's dumb. Let's go ahead and make that to positively identified hostile targets that are in the air. Cool. Go ahead and unpause. Oh, let's go ahead and check one more time. Shift F1, click on him. Let's see here. Automatic fire not allowed. Weapon release authorization says do not use weapon against this target type. Ah, shoot, another problem we got to solve. Let's bring up the Control Shift 9 again. Let's go over to, let's see, weapon release. We'll go down to gammons. Look at that. We were programmed not to fire any weapons against it. That seems silly. Let's go ahead and be extreme here. We'll just go ahead and use 3. Oh, no, we'll just give them away. No, we'll do 2. We'll do 2. 2's pretty good. All right, let's see here. Guided weapons, unidentified aircraft. We'll set that to 2 weapons. Helicopter guided weapons is perfectly fine. Go ahead and close that. I'm going to go ahead and pause again. Still nothing. What the heck? Go ahead and click on this one. We have some green now. Green is good. Green means we are good enough to fire. There's a couple little things we can see here that now it is in green. The first one, of course, is that we have 30 can fire. This would be a manual weapon allocation. Second one, 36 cannot fire because the weapons are currently located on our magazines and we can't actually launch them. Now, this is really, really important to us because this is a classic case when automatic fire is allowed, but manual fire is allowed, but there could be other reasons that allow us not to fire. Again, as long as we got green, we're good to fire here. So we can see we can fire up to 30 of these at a time. So I'm going to be very disrespectful to this particular target here. I'm going to go ahead and unpause one more time. I'm just going to sit here. I think the missiles will start firing any second now, right? Why are the missiles not firing? Oh, that's a problem. Let's see what else we could have done wrong here. I'll go back to Shift F1. It looks good. Oh. Weapon release authorization. 2 rounds per salvo. 15 nautical mile range, minimum firing. So even though it was not in red here, it didn't actually let us fire because of a range limitation. So let me go ahead and open the sucker up here, and let's go back to my gammon. We set it to 15 nautical miles. Our bad. Look at this. We have up to 116 nautical miles here. Let's do 50. 50 seems pretty reasonable there. We'll do 50. That's a pretty good range for us, obviously. Anything less than 20 is probably fine for guided weapons. Okay, let's unpause again. Just kind of relax. Everything's going pretty well here. He's doing his little kind of donut over there. And what is his range? And if we actually check that real quick, we can see that he's out of range. So that's all going to be ignored. I'm going to go switch to the other team again real fast here. I'm just going to grab this guy. We're going to tell him just a little MiG-21 here, kind of a thing like that. Or MiG-15, nothing special. We'll pull him into range, and we'll give it a second for the radar to go ahead and update here. And we'll pick him up again. Remember, radars rotate very slowly if they're long-range radars. This guy's going to get a little bit closer to us, so basically allow us to kind of acquire them. Oh, there we go. That's a little bit closer. Hey, look at that. Just like that, the weapon fired right on schedule. So one of these missiles is on the way. There'll be a second one launching in just a few moments here, which I would expect, I should say. It doesn't necessarily, again, they've already made a couple liars out of me. Although, if I recall correctly, we would only be firing one. Let's see here. Go back to our game. Oh, there it is. I knew it would fire. Sweet. So those weapons are on the way up to that little MiG-15 there, the little training version of the MiG-15. It's the cutest little thing you've ever seen. Up, splash. Nice. All right, so let's deal with all the other problems we have now. So my battery's looking pretty good, pretty cool, calm, confident, collected kind of a thing. And I notice there's much more targets out there. I'm noticing a bunch of fireballs. Fireballs, that's a disturbing concept for us. And of course, I've got this group of something coming at us. I'm going to go ahead and highlight them, mark them red. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my weapon release authorization. I'm going to open it up a little bit. I'm actually going to let them do automatic fire. And the reason I want to do this is just to demonstrate how the problem gets complicated and why that manual fire trick works so well. So we'll give a little bit of time. We can see the fireballs are actually pretty much re-entering orbit here. Oh boy, they're coming. They're coming. I lost sight of them. The fireballs, I would guess, are right about here if I had to guesstimate. Remember, they get up pretty high. As a matter of fact, they're, let's see here. What is the altitude on these fireballs here? 848 kilometers. That's enough, I think. So anyway, we lost sight of them because we just can't see them. They're up so high. Our radar literally doesn't point mechanically high enough to be able to acquire those. We know they're up there somewhere, though. And of course, that other group of aircraft are getting awfully close. Now, remember, we have enabled automatic engagement. And what you're noticing here is this group of aircraft is not being engaged, even though they are within our firing arc, and we allowed it. Well, let's press Shift F1 again and see what's going on here. Let's see here. Automatic fire not possible. Weapon is unable to engage imprecise targets. That means because our weapon is so far, or a particular target is so far away, our radar can't reliably point to exactly where the actual target is. Because of that, we can't hit it. Again, we can't even aim at it at this particular point. So again, if I look at this guy, he seems to be the best one. See, there any other issues? Weapons tight? No, everything else is good. We're pretty much ready to fire here. But unfortunately, we can't because it's just not a precise target. So I'm going to try to order him to fire anyway. So the moment that we do get close enough, he will be able to take kind of that snapshot. Remember, at any point, these little fireballs are getting dangerously close to us here. All right, they're well within our range here. It's not like they're jamming or anything like that. They're just very, very challenging targets. Oh, there we go. Finally got in range. There we go. So I fire my weapon, and you can see the ambiguity was resolved immediately. As a matter of fact, the target which we thought was over here is actually over here. Now, the reason for that, of course, has to do with the fact we're now using the gigantic fire control radar on the top of an F-5C. Unfortunately, yeah, that's right. That was right. Which one? Let's see. This is the square pair, the 5 November 6-2 radar. I wish I could show you a picture of this thing. It's huge. So, yes, we're able to acquire. It's also a continuous wave radar, which helps with this process a little bit. So the missiles are on the way. They're shooting up there and doing their thing. And, of course, my first couple missiles missed. Missiles. And meanwhile, our fireballs are getting pretty close. I'm getting a little nervous, actually. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to order my SA-5 here to basically engage those incoming nasty missiles here. We can actually see they're still imprecise targets. I'll go ahead and order 2 each. You can even cancel the last missile attack there because there's really no reason to even continue tracking those. So again, we had that target that they're firing at a minute ago. One cool thing is if you press Shift F1 and click on the thing you've already fired at, you can actually cancel if you need to. But I'm just going to let those missiles kind of ride in and not do much of anything. And pause. I don't want him to fire another one against this guy. Again, he's automatically engaging. Good. Nothing's automatically fired there. So right now he's sitting there panicking. He's twisting the knobs, desperately trying to get a lock on these incoming weapons. Some people say you can't really use an SA-5 against a surface-to-air weapon. Oh, there they are. I told you they were getting a little bit close. So if we take a look now, they're almost here. We're swinging that radar around. We're scanning. We're visually looking. Oh, no. Oh, no! Well, we got a weapon off at the last second there. It seems like some of the Dongfangs went a little short, and now we're basically sending this fun little panic fire over into this general direction, and we're just going to kind of spam our way to victory. Now, some of you are saying an SA-5 can't fire that many missiles at one time, and that's actually not true. We can fire quite a few missiles at one time, thank you, because we have multiple batteries actually co-located at the same point, making something like this possible. And you can see we missed badly, and I basically didn't hit anything, which, kind of typical. Now, at this point, you're probably going, all right, so I get it. So you hit Shift F1, and that seems to be the magical trick to identify some of the problems you're going to have. Well, that's accurate. The other thing you have to remember is this was a flight of Su-75s. These are special. They're stealth planes. And yes, we almost shot down one of them a few times. So let's go ahead and continue with our example here and show you other common places people kind of get goofed up here. So I want to launch a retaliatory strike. So I've got myself a pair of F-15Es. They're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and launch them as a group real quickly here. Again, actually, I did click that button. There they go. Cool. It takes about 2 minutes to get them in the air. 55, 56, 57. There they go. Fantastic. All right, let's get that group flying up north here. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. My F-15s are going to do the thing here. All right, so my F-15s have GBU-24s, which are these, whoops, that should not be there. GBU-24s, which are absolutely fantastic laser-guided bombs, like tip-top notch, best things you could possibly use against any sort of precise target. So I'm sneaking up on my target here, I'm going to go ahead and press my F1 key, go ahead and click for an automatic attack, and I'm just going to sit here. I'm getting in range here, looking pretty solid. We're going to fly right over the target. Here's my maximum range of my lovely GBUs here. Looking good, looking good. Stand by to drop the bombs. Got my finger on that red switch. Master arm on. Check my laser code for the 10th time. Huh. Why didn't the weapons leave the rack? Well, let's rewind for a second here, and I'll break this problem down. So let's go ahead and get ourselves into range, and we'll use our Shift F1 trick one more time here. Let's see here. GBU 29. Automatic fire not possible. No directors are able to illuminate this target. Insufficient reflection, no line of sight. If we go down here, you can also see that manual fire is not possible because no directors are available to illuminate the target. You're saying, it doesn't make sense. This thing's got a laser pod on it. I mean, look at this thing. It's got the AAQ. Look at how beautiful this pod is right here. Why isn't this thing able to fire? Well, when we start scrolling down a little bit, we can see there's a bunch of different stuff here. The part that we're interested in is the laser designator. It's got about a 15 nautical mile range, and it's got a 40,000 foot limit. So we're like, we're too high. Oh, no, we're not too high. We're 36,000 feet. What could be the puzzle? Well, the puzzle's basically invisible, and that is the fact that there are clouds. If I were to come to my airplane and press F2, you'll notice there's significant moderate clouds between us up here at 36,000 feet and down here at the ground where we actually want to do the deed. As a matter of fact, if we wanted to, I could go ahead and drag this thing and bring us down to basically the altitude required, which would be about 6,500 feet. Now, we usually don't like to drop laser-guided bombs at 6,500 feet. It's a great way to get AAA up at you. But for the purposes of our example here, we need to kind of just prove to you how to solve the problem. So our poor F-15s are basically diving straight down. I have to keep moving them back to give them room and to basically descend. Oh, these poor guys. And yeah, there's other strategies we could use. All right, we're now at 6,500 feet. Fantastic. And you probably observed they started throwing out the laser-guided bombs, just like I promised a few moments ago, as soon as we broke through the cloud layer. Now, the interesting thing is we actually have to maintain line of sight on them. We can't just power up back through the clouds. But what we can do is we can turn away from them, because as long as we have line of sight on the target, we can continue to guide our laser-guided bombs. Ha. So hopefully this helps you out a little bit as far as determining the mystery of why won't my weapons fire. That little red text and green text, it's there to help you as far as understand what those different kind of components are. If you're ever in doubt, you can always just press Shift F1 and click and be like, I can't fire. Automatic fire. And you're sitting there going, but this makes no sense. There's no warning here. You have to use a little bit of common sense. The weapon simply can't shoot backwards. It's kind of one of those things. So we'll leave you with one other little thing that happens fairly often with this. And that is remembering that you can't fire a weapon instantly. Even if you're able to acquire a target, that does not necessarily mean you can instantly engage that target. There's actually quite a process involved. And one of the things I will do to demonstrate this real quick is let's go get myself a Fletcher, which that's the correct word for anything destroyer related. 1957, that sounds pretty good. This will work perfectly for me. Let's go ahead and unpause here. If we've acquired something. So let's grab my SAM5, Shift F1, click. And one of the things I notice is this thing. This is OODA loop limitation. We've talked about OODA loops in previous videos here, but basically it takes time to bring that weapon to bear. Observe, orient, decide, act. So we have to point the weapon, calculate the weapon, determine if it's hostile, then we can start the actual shooting. So this is going to take this crew 36 seconds to do, which is very fast. That is a really good SAM crew. I've done it in SamSim. It takes longer to explain than it takes to do. It's just one of those things. All right, let's take a look at our Fletcher here. So I'm going to Shift F1, click on here. And we've got a lot of interesting targets here. Again, we're not really in range here. We're a little out of all those range here. So let's go ahead and fix a couple little boo-boos that we've set up here. We'll go ahead and say free firing. And we'll go ahead and grab that target and move it a little bit closer. So we're like within range and everything like that. Let's go ahead and grab that little MiG-15. Let's go ahead and pull him down to the ground. So he's like easy to hit kind of a thing like that. Set unit properties. We'll do, I don't know, 3,000 feet. That's pretty darn low. That looks pretty good to me. Go ahead and do one of these things. Go ahead and unpause. We'll set him to do 2,000 feet as his cruise altitude. Let's go jump back to our Fletcher buddy here. So here's our Fletcher. Let's go ahead and turn on his sensors and make it a little bit easier for us to basically acquire that UTI there. Not that UTI. All right, let's give it just a moment to acquire. I mean, you can just look out the guys. Just look out the window. Look out the window. There you go. Here he is. He looks pretty good to me. Let me go ahead and move my airplane. Look at this, perfectly within range here. Shift F1, click. Let's see here. You will notice it will take us 282 seconds before we're able to engage this target. Now, the reason it's so long, of course, is because the commander, basically the CIC, you look at this whole destroyer here. If you come down here, you'll notice it's CS Generation 1, World War II vintage. It takes time to get those 5-inch guns to turn around to actually start shooting at this. And the only way, of course, you can improve this is if we knew about the target sooner, which, of course, we don't. Now, there is one consolation prize, and that's the fact that the little guns, sometimes the little machine guns and stuff like that can fire, depending exactly what it is you're trying to shoot here. But again, all the little stuff is not represented here. So unfortunately, we're in a bad way as far as this goes. And quite hilariously, there's nothing stopping that MiG-15 from basically taking pot shots at my extremely expensive destroyer here. Now, you're probably saying, what about that SAM-5 a few minutes ago? Can't he do some shooting? The SAM-5 can't do some shooting anymore. Even though it's in time, if I actually lock back on again, oh, I'm sorry, we're in range. I forgot that I set all my WRA so that he couldn't take the shot. I can still fire manually. Come get some. Oh, yeah, look at that. 5 SA-5s. Oh, boy. Whoa, here we go. Nice. Okay, now let's end this properly. I've got myself some F5s, which are MiG-28s, I know. And what we're going to do is we're going to order them to engage our intruders here, the checkmates. Obviously, in the real world, you wouldn't do something this silly. This is a great way to get shot down. And the reason we're doing it anyway is because I want to demonstrate one more thing. So let's go ahead and, achoo, teleport. Actually, I have to find where these darn things are. I'll use some God's eye view here. This shouldn't give them enough time to react, right? Let's go ahead and move, reverse. There we go, perfect, fantastic. So my F5s here are going to sneak up on this guy in this end here. And let's get into range here. Let's get into range. Never knew that the MiG-28 could move like that, did you? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and order these guys to engage this fighter. Now, if you take a look, we're in range. We're running at each other. This is a head-on engagement. Shift F1, click. You will observe that the target aspect is out of range for this type of weapon. We can't hit it because we're not behind it. And the only way you would know that is by checking the Shift F1, or if you actually took a look at the Sidewinder itself and opened that up, one of the things you learn about it is when you come down here, you'll notice it tells you all about the weapon's details and things it can do. And notice it's a stern chase weapon. So quite hilariously here, as we go burning by this basically very, very dangerous airplane high speed, one of the hilarious methods to solve this is to fire cannons at it. And you can see that every single one of my beautiful airplanes were obliterated in that one pass. I mean, we did fire, we did take a shot at them, but it gives you an idea of how complicated the problem of hitting things are. Again, Shift F1 is your friend. Enjoy.